Rise and shine, it's a brand new day. Ken can take the stage, ready to play. Weekdays at 10, the cars and the scene. Coffee in hand, they're living the dream. Aggression in the voice, got the whole town awake. Bringing fire to the mic, make no mistake. Shows in the corner, spitting out facts. Dropping truth bombs, ain't holding back. Ken in the morning, feel the heat. From 10 a.m. CST, can take a seat. Live and loud, that great in the mind. Light up your speakers, crank up the sound. They're talking about life upside down. Opinions exploded like a sonic blast. In the studio, they're built to last. With passion and grit, they engage and ignite. Every single week, their foes can't fight. From sports to politics,
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of Ken and Ken in the Morning. It's Monday. It's like 70, 68, something like that, days till football. And you know what? This has not been a boring off season. So of course with me this morning we got Joe, we got Ken. Ken, some breaking news this morning.
Oh yeah, looks like Jalen Ramsey is going to the Steelers, and the Steelers are sending Mika Fitzpatrick back to Miami in exchange.
Wow.
Yeah. When I first heard about it with Jalen Ramsey going to the Steelers, I'm sitting there thinking, oh, wow, you know, they're actually building a damn terrifying defense. But you're just swapping Ramsey for Fitzpatrick, and I don't know personally if I'd make that swap.
Me neither.
I don't know. What do you think, Joe?
I think it's dumb. Ramsey is on the wrong side of 30. Fitzpatrick is younger. He fits your defense. You don't know if Ramsey is going to, how he's going to mesh with your team. You already had a sure thing with Fitzpatrick. Like, I wouldn't have traded Fitzpatrick. I mean, I would have rather given them the draft picks that they were asking for if you really wanted to go out and get Jalen Ramsey. Like, I think trading a three-time Pro Bowl safety for Jalen Ramsey, like, you just got in your secondary, and I don't know if the trade actually makes you better.
I mean, could there be some of the, I don't know, maybe there was some locker room issue issue that we don't see. Like, we see the play on the field. We see what they say in the press, but could there be maybe something where Fitzpatrick was maybe a cancer in the locker room? Was there maybe a situation where contractually he's like, you know what, guys, we're not doing it. And hey, who let someone free, man? What's up?
I sent the cage lion a key and a cake.
Oh, Jesus, there we go. It's all Ken's fault. JB, hop on, man. So, I mean, but there could be there could have been some other issues there, right, in Pittsburgh where he just needed to go for some other reason.
It's possible, but I think in today's NFL, we would have heard something about it with the level of leaks that happen at every, in every instance. It's like if a guy's a locker room cancer, you hear about it.
Joe, the leaks are, it's like the same in politics as in football. My sources say that Fitzpatrick didn't like the GM's type of coffee, and that's why he wanted to be traded. That's what my sources say.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying. We would have at least heard even something stupid like that.
Yeah.
I think.
Ow.
And we didn't. So, no, I'm not saying that there wasn't an issue. I think we would have heard something about it. It's more likely, and this is just me, I think it's more likely that the Dolphins were like, nah, we want a player. So they had to figure out who they were going to, be willing to let go of. And they had to be somebody good enough for the Dolphins to say, okay, we'll give you Jalen Ramsey for this. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins were like, hey, how about TJ Watt? And the Steelers are like, you're fucking crazy. So we'll give you Minka Fitzpatrick, and I could see a scenario like that.
Because I mean, it's almost like a tick for tack trade, right? Because Ramsey's good, Fitzpatrick's good, but like you said, does
it lowered the draft compensation? That's what makes sense to me.
There we go. There's that other piece of it.
There's no draft compensation,
right.
though.
What I'm saying is it eliminated the need for draft capital, which the Steelers need because that O-line's still in shambles. I expect Rodgers to play almost as many snaps as his first year in New York.
Well, and then for his final year, JB, because he said he's going to retire at the end of the year. But then there's the other piece of maybe you're going to have to pay Minka a ton of money that you're not going to be able to pay him
but
at the end of the year.
The bad part is this actually gave Jalen Ramsey a
$1.5
million raise where he makes more than Minka did. So it doesn't make sense that way.
But wait, where's that 1.5 come? Is that coming out of the Steelers kitty or out of the Dolphins kitty?
Out of the Steelers kitty.
And that's a lot of busted kitties.
That's a $26.6 million he makes this year versus $22.5 for Minka, right? Wasn't it 22.5 for Minka or something like that?
I don't know offhand.
I had to come in and say hi to my fuckers because I missed you guys.
It's been really
I was
weird.
gonna say we missed you too there, buddy.
Hey, I miss being able to bust balls just like everybody else.
It is kind of weird though how this trade.
He was only making $20 million, so it's actually costing the Steelers $6 million more plus whatever is dead cap.
So I don't. Maybe there was some other thing with. Maybe they just didn't like Minka or whatever, but it is kind of a weird trade in that regard. I mean, maybe they know something we don't, obviously, because we're all going, that trade doesn't really make much sense.
Yeah, because personally, I would have much rather given up draft picks than get rid of Minka.
Yeah. I mean, did their secondary get better? No, it was like a lateral move. But guess what? The Dolphins actually did get better because they lost their best safety. If you actually think about it, they had a young corner that did well that played a couple games for Ramsey when he was out hurt last year. So they didn't really lose as much as the Steelers did, in my opinion.
So here's the thing, though. For the Steelers, does it make them worse?
I think so. I think it's less than a lateral move. Like you just gave up a Pro Bowl safety who fit your defense for a guy that you're not sure if, number one, is he gonna perform? Is he gonna fit your scheme? Is he gonna? And he's on the wrong side of 30. And I don't know. Minka might be 30, but I know he's younger than Ramsey. Like. I don't even think Minka is 30, but he's probably close.
Minka's just in the third year of his second contract, I think, or the second year?
Yeah, something like that. So he's probably like 27, 28.
He's 28-ish?
Yeah, he's 28 years old.
Yeah, that to me, I wouldn't make that trade if I was Pittsburgh. I could say that.
So, I mean, I wonder what's going to come out. Because, look, if we're asking this and none of us are Steeler fans, I'm sure we got some watching. And we're asking these questions. Steeler fans are going to start asking these questions in Pittsburgh. So we should maybe get some answers today, tomorrow. At some point, they're going to have to address it because the fans are going to be like, dude, like, you don't trade to make us worse. Right? So there's going to be some questions. So it'll be interesting to see how those questions get answered. Yeah, we got a JB. They let him back in the house. I don't have to.
Hey, here's the crazy thing. Today was actually my release date, so I'm thinking it would be like Bay City, where I would get out like too late to do my show, right? Oh no, 12:01, midnight. They marched my ass up and let ship me out. Thank God I told my mom that was a chance because they were there waiting. Otherwise, I was walking my happy ass 45 miles home.
Jamie and I will not. Jamie and I will not be hosting the roundtable this week. We did it last 2 weeks.
Thank you.
JB will be back. So yeah, which is good because I can't be there this Wednesday, as it turns out. So it worked out perfect. See, they were trying to align with my schedule. JB is what it was.
Luca, Minka Fitzpatrick was traded from the Steelers to the Dolphins for Jalen Ramsey. That's why we're talking about Fitzpatrick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be, Matt Yinzer is going to be, probably scratching his head going, what, did this really make us worse? What do we not know? What do we not know? Why did they want to move on from Minka? Is there something else there? Does the inside source say he doesn't like Rodgers being in the building? What is it? What is it that made the Steelers want to make this deal where they got rid of Fitzpatrick for Ramsey?
He stepped on the owner's brand new shoes in one of the meetings, so that was all right. Get the hell out of here now.
Well, here we go. So there's news floating around Steeler Nation that Fitzpatrick wanted a trade.
Okay, because I was going to say I didn't hear that he wanted a trade, but I'm not a Steelers fan, so I'm not that plugged in.
I think I know a couple of Steelers fans that are going to be pissed that I'll talk to tomorrow night.
Yeah, we got some guys from Driving from the Top, a certain guy who might be a little upset.
Adam,
doesn't he have a Fitzpatrick jersey behind him on some days? I think he does.
Yeah, yes, he does.
Yeah. So Adam might be a little miffed. So Adam, when you watch this, because he does watch the morning show when he gets time, but he's starting his new gig here this week, so he'll probably watch us later. He's gonna be like, "What the hell, man?" So shout out to Adam, the guys from Driving to the Top. Yeah, man, it's a crazy trade.
I was just thinking about it, and one thing that does make sense as far as for the Steelers, though, now that I think about it, is they have Joey Porter on one side, right? Like he's turned into a pretty decent corner, and now you have Jalen Ramsey on the other side. So you've basically got two really good corners. And you're down a safety you're going to have to replace at some point. But like I guess I could see the thinking behind it there, that they wanted to, just have if you have a chance to get an elite unit, right? Like now I think that qualifies their corner unit, as elite now.
Because if those two guys can kind of be locked down, the safety's not irrelevant, but you don't need. You can plug and play, and if you feel confident what you got behind Fitzpatrick to come up, and like, look, I don't need Fitzpatrick level play. I can afford a little bit of a drop off, but the aggregate's going to be better than having a corner that's maybe susceptible on the other side. Maybe it does, Oh, we forgot Darius Slay.
Darius he's old.
Like, did we really? Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I was going to say, if that's the case, it makes even less sense.
Yeah, because he sucks in zone. Hey, you want to know what's great about this? Lamar Jackson gets to burn him twice a year instead of once every 2 years. Think about it. He would throw for his biggest yardage against the Dolphins when they played over the last couple of years.
Well, then they got Jonas Smith that's being here as well in trade. So we're active this summer. This is great.
So they got Jonas Smith. So it even cost them more money than what Minka did, and they get a tight end that's mediocre. Am I wrong? He is mediocre, right? Freiermuth is the guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Freiermuth's definitely the guy.
And look, the hits still are coming because not only we have these trades, we're still waiting on the Trey Hendrickson extension, which, by the way, we're also waiting on a Micah Parsons extension.
And the T.J. Watt extension. Right? Wait, I remember talking about this on the Roundtable Talk in that NFC North review. Who's that cornerback that got released that didn't get extended there, bearded Packer fan? What did I call that night?
Yeah. There was a lot of talk leading up to it. I didn't want it to happen. But
okay, so it was a 2-for-1 deal.
where did Rodgers go that you told me that he wasn't going to go?
Yeah, I didn't think he'd go there, but he did, and that's probably making Adam roll quite well too.
So what did the Steelers give up for Jonnu Smith? Oh, a late round pick. So they're giving up a late round pick for Smith.
Oh,
And Smith is going to get a 1-year, $12 million extension upon arrival in Pittsburgh.
how nice. Is he worth $12 million?
Geez, Pittsburgh is making some news today.
Mhm.
I get it. I don't know if Jalen Ramsey will be a good safety though. Has he played there in the NFL?
Because you already had Mika Fitzpatrick as a safety. If you were going to convert Ramsey to a safety, I personally would have rather much kept Mika there.
Well, look, here's the other piece, though.
He's played that for a while.
Rodgers already said this is it, 1 year and done. So, and you guys know how I feel about a certain head coach in Pittsburgh. If he doesn't win a playoff game, he's done. This is the Pittsburgh Steelers trying to go all in for Rodgers. Right? They're trying to make moves to be all in for Rodgers. Show the fans, look at, we got Rodgers. We got him for 1 year. We're going to do something with him, damn it. And they're trying to go all in. And then, yeah, as far as the other story that I mentioned real quick before we had the other trade there is, yeah, this edge, whoever signs is going to set that market, right? So
And then
Henderson,
how long-
Parsons, Watt.
Yep. And then whoever gets that, in how many years do we see that market reset? Like we saw the running back room reset after Le'Veon Bell. Like we're going to see the wide receiver room reset in a year or two. It's going to reset.
I mean, we talked about it last year, right? About like we thought maybe this would be the wide receiver reset here getting up because they're getting up to 35, 40 mil. It hasn't happened yet. Like the running backs did a couple years ago, and the tight ends kind of did. There's going to be a couple position groups that need to reset. It looks like the way some of these contracts are going. So it's going to be interesting in Cincinnati, who, by the way, you know, as we broke it last Thursday, just got their stadium extension for 10 years. So now they got that knocked out. But it's going to be interesting. There's one other piece of small news. There might be new ownership in Chicago.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, it came up.
And I will admit, I did call something else when Jim Irsay died. Did you see what happened? They made all the daughters, all three of the owners, and all
Yeah,
three
that's
of them
not the
doing
Chicago
different
Bears.
things.
Yeah, there are things.
No. I talked about the Colts because everybody said.
Oh yeah, that was a couple. Yeah,
And
the
I
one
said-
daughter, she's out front, but yeah, they just kind of split it amongst the daughters.
Yep. The one daughter, the
Bears-
business person, is the front office lady. You know, she's the one writing the checks and handling the books. The one that takes care of promotions, and the other one's the president of it all. Sorry.
So the Bears, though, not the Colts, I might have some new ownership. So an article came out this weekend. Minority ownership stake in the Bears could soon be up for sale. Andrew McKenna Sr., who had the shares, passed away in 23. I guess his stake, the Bears control whether it's sold or not. Now, here's the thing. We don't know how big the stake is. Now, we know the McCaskey family owns 80%, and they're not selling any of it anytime soon. So there are some smaller stakes in the Bears. We don't know if it's 5%, 10%, but could be a minority piece of the Bears, which are valuated. The last valuation was $6.8 billion is what they were valued at. Now I think they're trying to wait until they built the stadium because obviously that's going to increase their valuation, and they could get a lot more money for that minority stake. But news came out this weekend that they are considering selling a minority stake in the Bears. So Woody and I have decided to pool our coffee money together, and we are going to buy that part of the Bears.
What, 1,000%?
Yes. We're tell them don't make us send JB in there to take out your kneecaps. So they're going to sell us that part of the team, and Woody and I will become the new minority stake owners of the Chicago Bears. But that's it's not often you get a marquee franchise, one of the marquee franchises like a Chicago, where you get a minority stake available. When was the last time you had a minority stake of one of the marquee franchises that was available? So that's going to be interesting. And look at Luka. Speaking of shit teams, Minnesota. The stadium is an issue. That's why they're building a new one. It's not the stadium; it's the turf, which is managed by the Chicago Park District. But nonetheless, Soldier Field inside's actually pretty nice inside. If you've ever, I know you've probably been, Luka. But yeah, they're worth 6.8. So when you're one of the oldest teams in the NFL that's won some things, unlike Minnesota. Then yeah, you get to be worth 6.8 billion when you have the most Hall of Famers in NFL history, unlike Minnesota. So a minority stake can become available. It'd be interesting to see how much of a stake it is, and then how much it's going for. Because what did Brady pay for 5% of the Raiders? He paid a ton of money, didn't he?
A few hundred million.
Brian, I love Bistrilla. I could find way more uses for my money.
But I'll tell you what, Brian, if you had a shot to buy a part of an NFL franchise, there's a reason Brady spent a couple $100 million on a team like Vegas, or any team, because you're going to make money on that investment. You got a team like Chicago, you got a team like New York, the Rams, the bigger market teams. You're going to make money on that team, unlike the Minnesota Vikings. Who's never won a Super Bowl trophy ever. But anywho, that's a way to invest some money, man. If you can afford to buy a part of an NFL franchise that's not like a crap market team, you would. Even a crap market team, you really can make some good money depending on the market. Like Green Bay is a crap market team, but Green Bay is the exception to the rule, the way they're owned, and everything else is up there. But you could go to Arizona, I was going to say. And you're still going to make money on the Cardinals, right? You're going to make money. There's a reason these guys buy teams, because you're making money as an ownership. We broke it down last year, and even the lowly Vikings made $1 billion in 2023 in profit. So if your minority stake in that's 5%, you're doing okay.
I'll trade the 25 Hall of Famers for one Super Bowl for the Lions. Am I wrong for feeling that way?
Wait, what now?
I would trade all 25 Hall of Famers in the Hall that are the Lions for one Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, look at the Vikings went there, 4 times and couldn't get it. So, I mean, they would probably do the same. Well, that's fine, but it's a good investment. Whether you like them or not, it's a good investment. At that point, you got to put your fandom aside and go, am I going to make money? The answer to that question is yes. And especially if you're getting in before, here we go. But we've won playoff games, but we've never won the trophy, so we're still good. If you can buy in before they build the new stadium, right? Mm-hmm. Now we all know when they build the stadium, your value just went up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just smart money if you can buy a piece of any franchise, especially one about to buy a new stadium. And Luka can be all poo-pooing on he wants, but let's face it, the Bears are trending in the right direction. So also another good time to get in is a team is trending north and not south. Good,
so the Raiders, for example, right? Before they built the stadium in Vegas, the Raiders were worth like less than $1 billion. It was like right at about $1 billion. As soon as they built the stadium, they're now worth like 6.2 billion, right? So they 6x'd their entire valuation just with the stadium. So I don't know if the Bears are going to get six. I don't know if they're going to 6x their value, but it should increase their value by at least $2-3 billion.
Oh, at least, yeah. I mean, what happened to the Rams when they built SoFi? Their value went way up.
Mhm.
What happened to the Cowboys when they built Jerry's World? Value went way up. Every team that gets a new stadium, the value goes way up. And if you own the stadium as well, it increases even more. You get a bump if you don't own the stadium, right? The state owns part of it, whatever. You're still getting a bump because you got the new stadium. But if you own the stadium, that's why another reason why I think they're going to build in Arlington Heights, because they will own everything. They'll own the stadium, all the surrounding businesses they put into the park area they're building there. They have hotel interest. Your value as an owner just skyrocketed. You went from let's say they were worth 6.8, now they're going to be worth 10, 12 billion dollars. You may have doubled your investment just like that. So yeah, pretty smart to buy into an NFL franchise. I mean, and really look at, and let's go with the Raiders. He was worth what, 500 million, which was willing to put into the stadium to keep him in Oakland, and Oakland said, "Nah, that's okay." And now he's worth what, a couple billion?
Mhm. Mhm.
So, buying. Look at. It's funny because even look at what the athletes are doing. So back in the day when JB and I were much younger and didn't have any pepper in the beards, players bought restaurants. They bought car dealerships. They did stuff like that when they got their contracts and made money. I mean, everyone did. Michael Jordan did it. Ditka did it. Landry did it.
Sue did it.
Yeah,
In
and Dominic
Miami.
Sue. They buy nightclubs. Warren Sapp had a couple nightclubs, now, and they all, of course, went belly up. And now all these guys, well, they didn't all go broke, but some of them did. And now what are guys doing? What are guys doing now? Well, JB, a couple restaurants did good.
Warren Sapp, when he bought into that one club in Ybor City out near Tampa, it was the Pleasure Dome, is what it was called. The unique thing about this club is it had a glass floor on the second floor for the second floor, and the second floor was clothing optional.
So that's what they used to put their money into for various weird reasons. But now look what our players are doing. Aaron Rodgers did what? Bought a part of the Milwaukee Bucks, right? Patrick Mahomes and his wife did what? Bought into the Kansas City. What's the name of the women's soccer team there? Not only did they buy into the team, they bought into the stadium, right? They built a stadium for their team. Tom Brady bought a soccer team in England who just got promoted to Championship League. So both them and Wrexham are one step away from the Premiership. Other NFL, the Rams own a Premiership team. The Jaguars own a Premiership team. I mean, this is what you do, right? Yeah, always offensive fight. Yeah, they invested in weed and cocaine. Hurd then tried to sell the weed and got busted. And then of course at the dogfight events, you're right, Michael Vick, can't forget that. But now that players are buying into sports teams in other sports, not their own right now, and then they retire. Tom Brady, what does he turn around and do? Buys a part of the Raiders, a franchise, by the way, he never played for, never had anything to do with, but they had availability for him to buy a stake, and he jumped on it and spent a large portion of his piggy bank to go buy a part of a team that he had no affiliation with during his career except beating them relentlessly. So
there's more to it than that. Tom Brady, prior to buying a stake with the Raiders, was one of the most hated individuals in the entire world, according to Raider Nation, because of the tuck rule game, which wasn't really his fault. It was the referee's fault. But basically, most of Raider Nation felt that the entire Patriots dynasty was built on their backs. And so they absolutely, like, Tom Brady was the scapegoat for that. And he was, like, universally hated.
And now he's universally loved because he's an owner. Well, maybe not universally, but.
I think people are starting to come around. Like, I think the moves that the Raiders have made since he took over are starting to show a competency that hasn't been there for quite a while. And so people are starting to come around on it.
So, and then you've got players that own arena football teams. You got players that own minor league baseball teams. You've got, the players have switched it up from, doing restaurants, bars, and car dealerships. Mm-hmm. And some of the car dealerships, like Moses Malone had a car and a semi-truck dealership, right? Scottie Pippen still has his car dealerships in Chicago. So there's still a little bit of that goes on, but they're buying sports franchises. Minor league baseball, G League basketball. They're buying into NBA teams. They're buying into MLS teams. They're buying into all these other sports. Why? Because it's moneymaker.
Mhm.
So, you get throwing them off. You got throwing them on the field. Now you get throwing them off the field. The circle is complete.
Luca, you don't know how right you are, because I really believe that after Mark Davis dies, Tom Brady is going to end up taking over as the majority owner of that team.
You know what? This would be ironic, but let's say the Bears do. Real estate's always been big for pro athletes, right? But we've seen a trend though of bear on Mike's right there. I mean, real estate's always been a thing, but for them, but it's the last couple years, it's really been, ooh, can I buy a sports team? Right? That's been like, because they're starting to see, they're seeing, hey, wait. I think the thing when Rodgers wins a championship with the Bucks, that opened up a lot of eyes to a lot of players, right? Because there was already Derek Brooks is on a part of the Wahoos here in Pensacola for a while, right? It kind of has been filtering, but that was the first time you really saw in the news. We knew about Patrick Mahomes and his wife a little bit, but NWSL, it's not like, okay, whatever. But here's Aaron Rodgers, who is still a current player, get a ring for the Milwaukee Bucks. So now he has 2 rings. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. And I think that really changed it. Yeah, hold on, let me go with that in a second, Philip. So I think it changed the game a little bit. Now, wouldn't this be ironic, speaking of Aaron Rodgers? If the Bears don't sell this during the season, Aaron retires, and then takes all his money and buys the minority stake in the Bears. Then Aaron Rodgers would truly own the Bears.
I was going to say he's been their owner for years, so you might as well make it legitimate.
Make it legitimate and call him Daddy Rodgers from here on out.
Yeah, is he still going to broadcast? I thought he was done after last year because of the ownership.
No, he can still broadcast, but they have specific rules about it.
Yeah, I know there are things he can't say. He can't criticize the league in certain ways, and he can't talk about. And there's all kinds of weird.
Yeah, he can't do the pre-production meetings with them.
And he also can no longer do one-on-one interviews with players that are active. No, that's actually in there.
No.
Yeah, because they're afraid that he's going to be
to me just sounds like Brady set up the perfect job for himself. It's, pay me a lot of money. I'm going to come do all this. All right, yeah, I'm signing up for ownership. I guess all I can do is just come in and call the game.
Hey, Fox is paying him to scout teams for his team and get all the insights from all the people in the production staff and statistical people. So it's like the Raiders got not just Tom Brady, but they got the Fox production staff as scouts now as well. It's great.
So does that mean if the Raiders win a championship, we can say that it was Tom Brady's cheating that helped him win?
Oh, there we go.
Well, that would be really true to form, because the Raiders' motto is, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Yep.
So,
but wouldn't that be something though? If like the Bears, they don't sell it, it doesn't go on the market till after the season, and Aaron Rodgers buys, let's say, it's a 5% stake in the Bears. Would that just not be? I mean, I don't know how Bears fans would react. Bears fans, how would you react if when they finally do sell this minority stake, Aaron Rodgers is the guy who ponies up the money and buys the minority stake in the Bears?
My God. I know me as a Packers and Rodgers fan, I'd absolutely fucking love it.
To me, I think there's a difference there between like Brady and the Raiders. Like, I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be as involved with the team. Like, I think, with the Bears, he's like just going to take his money, It's like he'll get his money every year when they get the profits. I don't know if he's going to go out of his way to try to help the Bears win. Like,
it's more ayahuasca money.
Whereas with Brady, like Brady has taken an active role in ownership, and Mark Davis actually trusts him to make decisions.
But Rodgers, is a smart guy. I mean, look, I think like where Ken's going, oh my God, this would be so much. I think there's some Packer fans who would be like friggin' pissed. Like they'd say, oh, you're going to be with the Bears, you're selling out. Like there'd be Packer fans who would be legit pissed off he does it.
Oh, they might be, but they got to remember that Aaron Rodgers is one of the biggest trolls that there is. And you're telling me that just would – I could see him doing it just to troll the Bears one last time.
Yeah, dude, you're not going to spend a couple $100 million to troll the Bears. I'm sorry.
I was going to say you will if you're going to make a profit off of it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm
sounds
saying.
like we have a task for Luca Investigates. Anyone find a picture of Aaron Rodgers' wife?
See, that's why I'm saying I think Rodgers is
Blue? Did he marry the witch Blue? I don't know who he married.
No.
Like I think Rodgers is capable, right? Like if he was to actually take an ownership role and want to be hands-on, I think Rodgers could be capable in that role. I just don't know if he's going to do that with the Bears because, like, I feel like he would feel like he's selling out. You know, like
Blue just hosted the ceremony. I get it.
So he might just, if he was to buy that ownership stake in the Bears, I could see him just sitting back and collecting his check every year. When the money gets divvied up, he's like, thank you, and I'll be on my way.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, it's funny though with the Bears having the minority stake. I wonder if it is going to be a former NFL player or athlete in general who's going to buy it. Because look at another athlete who's been making their money is Magic. I mean, he owns part of the Raiders. Right, he started out with movie theaters. Now Magic owns part of the Raiders. He's in that ownership group.
Isn't he also part of the ownership group that owns the Dodgers and the Angels too?
Yes, he is.
And he also is a part owner of the Lakers.
Is he part owner of the Lakers? I'm not so sure about
group.
that
Group the same one that bought into the Lakers? Didn't the Buffalo?
I'm not sure if he's part of the Lakers, but I mean, he I know he's. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not certain about that. Rodgers. Well, no one's asking Rodgers to be the GM.
Yeah. I was going to say that's the one hat he shouldn't wear.
You have to look at if Brady's bringing in Geno, I'm okay with that if it's Brady because Brady probably knows a thing or two more than you and I. You know what I'm saying?
And first of all, it was Pete Carroll who wanted to bring in Geno, and Brady signed off on it. Like
Brady signed off on it because Geno is 100% better than he ever was with the Jets.
So wait a minute, Rodgers would have to sell his Packer stock first. The stock you buy for $300 is an actual real stock that you get a vote with, right?
No. You get a vote with it. You just don't get dividends from it.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know how much of the Packers does he own. I mean, I don't think as a player, you can't own. So you can't own part of a team as a player. Right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can't as an active guy.
Yeah. But that's interesting, though. I mean, will there be a player, a former athlete who's ponies up for the Bears? And if so, would it be an NFL guy or would it be like a guy like Magic or Michael Jordan? Maybe he decides he wants to buy another part of our team?
No, it'll be Dennis Rodman.
Rodman doesn't have the money. His daughter might have more money than he does right now. Trinity, but hey, don't laugh. Trinity is she is legit a world-class player. She's one of the best in the world at her position. So Trinity Rodman is legit. She is legit. Ooh, LeBron. Could LeBron try to get in? There you go.
LeBum James?
Yeah, LeBum.
You heard what he's doing, right? He's exercising his $52.3 million.
Well, yeah, and he wants them to draft his other kids so he can be the first. He'll be the first NBA player to play with two kids. He won't be the first professional athlete to do that because that happened in hockey. But he wants to play with two of his kids. It's like, just get out of town, LeBum. You're never going to be as good as Jordan. Stop trying.
with Jim Irsay dying, like that opens up interesting possibilities for the Colts as well. Like, I don't know. I'm sure he has in his will who's going to take over the team.
Well, yeah,
but,
Jeremy covered that a little bit ago. His daughters, they got the team.
But if I was just thinking about it. If I was Peyton Manning, I might consider like trying to get a piece of the Colts. Peyton Manning definitely has the money from all those nationwide commercials and stuff.
I think Kerrigan brought up a good point. I think Rodgers would have to sell his Packers stock to become a part owner of any other NFL team, though.
Yeah, I don't know if he actually has Packer stock though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't know the Packers stock.
If he does, he would though. Is what I'm saying.
Well, it doesn't pay dividends. They could just nullify his vote. That's all. I mean, it's just a worthless piece of paper, really, in terms of financial. And they could just nullify his vote. I mean,
I mean, there's something to it because you still have to get the stock registered and all that.
If he actually owns stock in the Packers. Yeah. Hey, it's a great way for them to raise money, though, man. And they raise money. You know, that's interesting, though, what you're saying. I mean, because, Irsay's daughters, what would it take? You know, and Peyton also has Omaha Productions. He makes a lot of money in TV production. Like, you know, ESPN, he does a lot of shows that are on ESPN, ESPN Plus. I mean, it's not just football. Now he's even on what is it? The food that made America, one of their spinoffs, the mega corporations that made America. Yeah, he's producing that show because now him and his brother are both on that show, which is on like what, A&E. So like his production company makes a ton of money too. Does Peyton Manning? He's making. You want to talk about diversifying? He has a production company, and he's got the advertising money he makes and all that. I mean, I'm sure he owns some other stuff, but I mean, what would it take for him to be a part owner of maybe Denver or Indianapolis? That's interesting. See, look, Philip was a sucker parted with his money too.
This is coming from the same guy that said if my team offered it, I'd do the same thing because it's a pretty cool piece of fan memorabilia.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Look at buying one share of it, spending the $300 or whatever to buy a share to put on the wall is a cool piece of memorabilia. After that one, when you buy 15 of the stock that pays you $0 and gives you no real power in anything, yeah, you've wasted your money. Buying one is kind of cool. It's like, oh, look at this cool thing. I own part of the Packers. You put it on the wall. It looks like you do what Ken did. You frame it. Look at this. It's kind of cool. Once you're starting to buy 15 or 100 of them, you're just a sucker who's being parted with their money. I don't think Colin Cowherd has enough money to buy in. I think it'll be a guy who already owns a team of some sort, right? Don't count the Ricketts family out. They own the Cubs. Don't count out someone who owns another Chicago team, but don't count out a former player. It doesn't have to be a football player. I mean, I think if the Bears could get a situation where they get a guy like Tom Brady who could give credibility to the ownership group for football knowledge, they would love to sell the team that minority stake that way, right? Like Mike Singletary buys a minority stake in the Bears. I mean, well, they would love it not because he's a former Bear, but like he knows football, right? So I mean, that would be where the fans would be happy if they could get someone. I'm sure you could, Luca. And I got one that says, "Hey, I'm a Vikings fan. I'll sell it to you for $50," because Vikings fans are known to waste their money more.
Or how about, hey, Luca, I could sell you a replica Vikings Super Bowl trophy on eBay.
Yeah, notice I have no Packer helmets. I have no trash to my collection. Sorry, John.
Yeah.
But I mean, look for the Packer stock as a piece of memorabilia, it's worth the $300. Yeah, I would do it. I'd spend $300. Hey, look, it's a cool piece of memorabilia. You own part of the team. Okay, cool. But after that first one, like now, I own 300 of them. Oh, Dan, you're stupid.
They have it designed where you can't own more than a specific amount of the stock because they don't want somebody taking over as the owner.
They want to make sure that you're just giving them money and have no power.
Smart business, really.
Very smart. And Packer fans just keep buying into it. That's great. And look, if it's the way you want to support your team, I mean, you could just make a donation, or now you can buy a piece of paper that says you made a donation. I think getting the piece of paper for your donation is actually kind of cool. As a fan, it's like, okay, cool. I'm a diehard fan. And the Packers are interesting that way. That look, at the Packers are a good, interesting, unique team in the NFL, if not in all of American sports. Their players can't really own the team or do anything. So hey, why not go buy another sports franchise? Rodgers, bought a part of the Bucks. I mean, it's smart money for players. So these guys are going to, they're done with the nightclubs and the restaurants and the car dealerships. The hot thing right now is buy sports teams, and until some of them start losing all their money on that, right? Then they'll keep doing it. I mean, the problem is too. I'm sure you guys have heard of Welcome to Wrexham. That's a Cinderella story.
I think you've mentioned it on this show a time or two.
But that's a Cinderella story. I mean, dude, they're the first team in British football history to get back-to-back-to-back promotions. That doesn't happen. Tom Brady buys his team, they automatically get promoted. Okay, fine. Both those teams are now in the championship league. But those guys got lucky. Just because you buy a team doesn't mean you can get relegated, right? Teams get relegated every year in European soccer. Minor league baseball teams don't sell out stadiums in minor league baseball, right? There are some minor league teams that have a hard time giving away tickets because they're just shitty, they're terrible, bad market. So until players start losing money buying franchises or buying into franchises, they're going to keep doing it. I mean, okay, buy a club, buy a sports franchise. Which one's a safer investment? Probably buying the sports team is a safer investment than buying a nightclub.
Yeah.
And now you don't have to worry about underage drinkers and liquor licenses and all the other crap.
Hey, you want to know who's richer right now than she ever was making records? Gloria Estefan, because she owns 5% majority stock in every single sports franchise in Miami.
Yeah. The Queen of Miami. I mean,
right down to Inter Miami Soccer. She owns all of them. She owns 5%.
Well, look at Lionel Messi. When Lionel Messi finally retires, he'll have an ownership stake in Miami. He already has an ownership stake in Apple TV. How he got that in his contract, I do not know. But he's making money off Apple already as a player, as part of his contract to come to Miami. Players are getting smarter in how they spend their money, man. The days of them buying 5 houses and 3 nightclubs and a restaurant are over. And I think really, in a weird way, I'll give Aaron Rodgers a lot of the credit for that, because while guys like were already doing it, when he wins a ring with the Milwaukee Bucks, that really put a spotlight on it. Because until then, people didn't really even realize he owned, outside of Wisconsin, really didn't realize that he owned part of the Bucks. And it's like, wait a minute. And other players like, wait a minute. I can own an NBA team. I can own an NHL franchise, a soccer team. When I retire, I might be able to buy into an NFL franchise if I'm a bigger name player who made hundreds of millions of dollars in his career. So I wouldn't be surprised if Peyton Manning were to try to buy in like Jeremy suggested. Why not? Try to go to one of the sisters, say, let me buy 5%.
I mean, think about it. 5% in an NFL franchise, a multi-billion yearly operation. 5% of that. That means she's guaranteed $500,000 if it's a billion, right?
No,
Guaranteed
50. If it's a billion at 5%, it's 50 million.
50
Yeah.
million. 50 million every year. A year. If that,
Mhm.
and we know that every franchise clears, what is it they say net, around 2.5 to 3.5 billion?
Well, we broke it down last year. We broke down Minnesota.
Yeah,
Minnesota cleared right about $1 billion for the 2023 season.
Okay, so $1 billion. So she gets 50
So about
million
$1 billion. So still, if you're look, let's say you paid $300 million to buy 5%. I mean, so it's not going to take you that many years to make your money back. And let's say you own it for 10 years. Well, you've obviously doubled your money at that point, almost. I mean, it's a smart investment.
It's actually Ken, you're right, but you're not even making your money back, because it's not like your money is gone. Your money is tied into the franchise, and if they sell the franchise, you're still going to get your money back with interest, like with the big increase. So it's really that $50 million a year is just extra money. It's just like, here you go. It's like a huge dividend, and you still have your original investment, which is still going up because the valuations are going up.
Let's say the Bears ownership stake is 5% that's for sale, and let's say it costs you $500 million to buy that 5%, and then they build a stadium, and the value of the team doubles. Your $500 million investment is now worth $1 billion, just like that, and you're still raking in, like Joe said, the bonus cash of $50 to $100 million a year. I mean, what bank account gives you that kind of return on investment?
I mean, the closest thing you can get to, what is that? The mutual money marketing account where they guarantee you a 1 to 4% monthly yield, correct? Isn't that about the closest thing you can get?
And then if you ever want to sell it, I mean, that's ridiculous, man. I need to get me some money together, man.
Seriously, because I've done the math and I've thought about it. Like, if I ever hit one of those Powerballs or the Mega Millions, even at the lowest amount, when it's at 12 million, I'm putting $400,000 in a mutual money marketing account immediately.
So a couple of years ago, when it was $1 billion and we bought tickets, and the winner came from Florida, not far from where we bought our ticket, we're like, oh, maybe we got it, right? I was joking back then that I'd buy the St. Louis Blues, who were valued at about $900 million. Or a little, no, they were valued at $600 or $700 million. I was like, I'd buy the Blues and move them to Florida. But honestly, even buying an NHL franchise, you're making the money, right? And now the NHL has blown up since then, so all those teams are worth a lot. But the St. Louis Blues are worth almost $2 billion now, I think. So I mean, they're worth money. Buying sports franchises, if you're a player, that's a smart way to put your money. Forget the bar, forget the car dealership. Maybe, okay, fine, do one as a secondary thing. But, like, if you want to invest your money as a player when you retire, or even while you're still playing, obviously you can't do it in your sport. Go buy an MLS team. Go buy it into an NHL or an NBA franchise if you're in the NFL. If you're John Sullivan, sell the truck and buy part of the Vikings, I mean, you'll make more money.
Think about this, too. There's really no incentive to sell. Like, if you're a former player, and you're retired, that $50 million a year is probably, unless you're Joe Burrow or somebody, that $50 million a year is more than you ever made in a season in the NFL. And it's probably your whole contract in the NFL. And now you're getting that every year. Like, you pass that on to your kids, man. If you can't live on $50 million a year, then there's something wrong with you, dude.
But Joe, think of it this way. Let's say you buy I don't know what the Bears made, but let's assume they made at least, they're making a bill 5, right? Let's say though that they made $2 billion in profit. Now you're making $100 for that. That's more than you ever made as a player in a season.
That might be more than you made in your whole career.
Team, look at Minnesota's not a major market, right? They're not. Yep, JB is up next. He's gonna go prepare for his show.
Yep. I want to say hi to John because it's been a minute. How you doing, brother?
Good.
The cage line is free again. Have a good one, everybody.
Yeah, we'll see you, buddy.
But think about it. If you buy into a major market team in LA, a New York, a Chicago, a Houston's a massive market. And let's say they're clearing $2 billion a year. Dude, you're making more than you ever made in any given season as a player. So that's what I'm saying. Like, buying into a franchise, whether it be, even if you're buying into a hockey franchise or NBA franchise, you're making damn good money, and you're making that for the next 10, 20, 30 years. Because remember, these guys retired. They're in their 30s. How old's Brady now? 45 or something like that? Early mid 40s? I mean,
yeah.
He's making let's say the Raiders cleared a bill last year. Well, he made $500 million or $50 million. I'm sorry, and he's going to make that. Let's say for the next 40, 50 years. I mean, come on. You want to talk about legacy money?
He's got a lot of endorsements. Some endorsements are flying through. Hurts. Yeah, I mean the NFL, his commentating job. Fuck. Well, he's got a lot of shit going on for him.
Yeah, but I'm just looking at the investment though on the ownership side. That's why players, because not every the only players who are really making money on stuff like that are Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. How many other players or former players are doing national TV spots?
National. I don't see much besides you're like quarterbacks.
Well, quarterback, yeah, that's.
I mean, no, but seriously,
I was just saying, Greg Olson, Rob Gronkowski.
Well, Greg Olson, because of more of the commentating, they use the Fox commentators for those commercials.
Right.
That's a hotel commercial. Gronkowski gets some. Yep, Gronkowski does the USAA commercials. But I mean, there are very few players that get that kind of career. And look at the money for that is peanuts compared to being an owner. I mean, let's be real. I mean, I think the guy who was making the most money of the players outside of playing of that group was Peyton Manning with this production company and everything else he's got. And now Tom Brady said, "Oh, wait, hold my beer. Let me buy part of an NFL franchise. Now I'm making more than you." So it wouldn't surprise me if Manning tries to get a team because those two are always competing.
I was about to say we're used to the pissing match between them.
So buy you a sports franchise. So I mean, wouldn't it be funny? Look, if maybe Peyton Manning tries to buy whatever that percentage of the Bears is, and then you go, "Hey, look, you own the Raiders? Yeah, I own part of the Bears. Which one's a bigger market, bud?"
I mean, look at Alex Rodriguez. He's part ownership of the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that the days of restaurants and car dealerships are over. Like they're buying sports franchises because that's where the money's at.
Right.
And you're a big contract guy who made a lot of money in your playing days. You will leverage everything because it's safer money than buying a bar. Because, like you said, like Joe said, you're getting that $50 million every year.
But now the question is A-Rod gonna him and that guy that he bought with? Are they gonna keep the team in Minnesota? Is the plan to pick up about Minnesota? That's kind of a concern right there.
Yeah, but I mean, either way, though, he's going to make his money because they moved to a new place. The value of that team just went up. They get a new stadium, it goes up.
Right.
That's, and like in Tom Brady's part, he bought in after the stadium, so he paid a premium. He didn't get into the Raiders before they moved. He got in post-move, so he paid a premium. If whoever's going to buy this stake in the Bears is getting in pre-stadium. So they're going to watch their investment grow pretty damn quick. Pretty damn quick if this happens before the Bears build a new stadium. So, yeah, we're going to take up collection, go to my ex and buy me a cup of coffee. We're going to name it to help Ken buy a piece of the Chicago Bears fund.
And we'll get Rick Mott involved. We'll get Rick Mott.
There we go.
Come on, man. You love Rick Mott. You love Rick Mott in a really special way.
But I mean,
a celebrity appearance from Meatloaf will always do good for bringing up the ratings.
I mean, look at man, that's where the money's at, man. These players, they're on it. They got it. Some of them are getting it. Like, do it while you can, because there's only so many sports franchises you can buy.
I mean, and it's an investment. A lot of these players, they retire and they don't do anything with their money. They blow it, then they're broke. So
yeah. I mean, this is the change over the last, I want to say, 5 to 10 years that we've started to see. But look, you can only buy so many. There are only so many sports clubs to buy, and eventually you're going to have that guy who's buying the bottom of the barrel and losing their money. That's going to happen. So get in while you can still get franchises you know are going to make money or a better investment. Don't go buying the lug nuts in a minor league baseball team in a town where they maybe put 1,000 people in the stands if they're lucky, right? Go buy you into a team right now that can make you some money. Because you know what's going to happen? Hey, but if you start now, we're going to draw fans because we're going to announce. Oh yeah. Initially, that sounds good to the player, Anywho, we're about out of time today. Don't forget JB's on next. Finally, he's back from his government-paid vacation. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central, 11 on the East. Then, of course, we've got the normal slate of shows throughout the week. It was just good to have JB back today, wasn't it, Ken?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see what kind of breaking news. We had some trades today. We got some ownership stakes up. What's going to happen today? We don't know. Tune in tomorrow, though, and find out. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.